What if everything you've been taught about health, nutrition, and weight loss is a lie? A careful constructed lie designed to keep you on a hamster wheel of frustration. If you're tired of being sold a myth, this episode is for you. Welcome to Keeping It Real on Purpose. I'm your host, and today we're going to be exposing the lies we've been told about our bodies. I'm with Dr. Lewis Meline, right? Is that right? Meline. Okay, I got it. Medical doctor and author of the book Lies Exposed. After 40 years of research, he's here to tell us about the mainstream advice about the lies exposed and how we're actively getting sick. So get ready to deconstruct everything you think you know about health. Welcome to the show.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay, Dr. Meline, your book is called Lies Exposed. Let's start with the biggest lie of all. What is the single most dangerous piece of mainstream health advice we are following, and what does it really cost us?
Well, there's a multitude of things, and I just wanted to make one statement to start out here.
Sure.
The biggest problem that people have learning stuff like this is people have learned things along the way. They've engaged in these lies and fallacies and this misinformation that's been going on for decades.
Mm-hmm.
And they've found information that they like, fits their lifestyle. They found a way of eating that they feel is healthy and is suiting their lifestyle. And anything that they hear that disrupts that, they immediately become resistant to.
Yeah.
So for people to engage in this information, to really learn how to be truly healthy and to get the weight off if they're trying to lose weight and do these things, they've got to let go of what they are currently believing. They've got to be willing to let go.
Yeah.
They've got to be willing to embrace something different, analyze it, look at it, digest it, and then learn to use it. Because if they don't, they'll just brush this off. They'll say, well, that guy doesn't know what he's talking about. So that's the biggest obstacle that people have to overcome.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I believe that because I was like, when I was reading your book, I was like, wait, no. Yeah. So I had to okay, I got to absorb that, put it down for a second. It's like, okay, and go through it again, Yeah.
Yeah, that's the biggest obstacle. Now, as far as the biggest thing that the lies and things that they've been exposed to, I don't think there's any one particular lie that is just the overall encompassing. There's many, many lies and fallacies that have been perpetuated throughout the decades. And these things don't go back 10, 20, 30 years. They go back tens of decades, hundreds of years. Okay.
Wow.
So things like the Atkins diet or these high protein, high fat diets,
Mm-hmm.
They go back 200 years. This is nothing new. But people just pick up on this. They pick up on it because people are willing to embrace it. And so people really want to embrace things that are easy.
Right, exactly. Yeah, you're right.
And you follow my program and you're going to lose 30 pounds in the next month. Well, if you sit down and analyze that statement, it's very ridiculous and it's impossible.
Right.
But there's people out there promising these sorts of things.
Yeah.
And people buy into it. People want to lose their weight quickly. They've spent 30 years becoming overweight and out of shape and nutritionally unfit, but they want to become nutritionally fit and down to their ideal weight in 3 months.
Mm-hmm.
And that's not reality. So being able to embrace the truth is the biggest thing that people face.
Right. You talk about supplements in here, and I was blown away, completely blown away. Not that I didn't believe it, but just the fact that it's here. Can we talk about supplements?
Yeah. Supplements are something that, they've existed for a very long time.
Mm-hmm.
And at one time, if you back up into the 1800s, supplements were necessary because their food was really tainted. that a lot of nutritional value had been taken away, and they really needed supplements to enhance this food so that
Right.
they had something close to what was a reasonable diet.
Right.
But we've moved way past that. But the
Right.
supplements haven't gone away. The thing with supplements is people don't know really what constitutes a well-balanced, healthy diet.
Right.
And so they are engaged in what they believe is a healthy diet, or at least to some extent, they believe it's a healthy diet. But they want to maximize just that little edge. But what the supplement manufacturers take advantage of is something will be discovered about a vitamin. So take fatty acids. They
Mm-hmm.
discover, okay, fatty acids are involved in brain development and these other things. Well, they don't mention that you get plenty of fatty acids in a good diet. You don't need supplements. But to say,
Right.
oh, this particular fatty acid does this particular thing in the growth and development of your brain or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
So they come out with the supplement. Says, oh, take this supplement every day and your brain will be perfect. You'll be sharp as a whip and you won't get Alzheimer's and whatever they promise you.
Right.
They
Right.
can
Right.
promise you anything because there's no restrictions on what they can promise you. As long as they're not diagnosing, treating, preventing, or curing any disease, they can tell you
Mm-hmm.
anything they want. So they tell you these things and you say, oh, that's great. Well, I'm going to take this supplement because it's going to do this for me. And then the next supplement comes along and it says, oh, well, um,
Forget those. Yeah.
yeah, but this supplement is going to provide this for you. You say, oh,
Mm-hmm.
that'd be great. That'd be really good if I had that. So I will take that supplement. So they start taking that supplement. Next thing you know, they're taking 15 supplements. It's costing them $500 a month for supplements. And in reality, they're not any better off than they were without taking any of those supplements. But they don't know that.
Mm-hmm.
The advertisements are so enticing. And knowing what I know and having known it for so long, I hear some of those advertisements and it always makes me want to go get that supplement, start taking it just because it's so enticing and so inviting. But the reality is, unless your diet is very poor. Now, if you're eating a very poor diet and somebody
Mm-hmm.
advertises something about a supplement and you take that supplement and you really do notice an improvement, that's not saying anything about the supplement. That's saying something about your diet. That means you're
Right.
deficient
Right.
in what that supplement
Yeah.
is providing. So you need
Mm-hmm.
to look into what's deficient in your diet and not, okay, I've solved that problem with that supplement. Also,
Wow.
supplements only address one particular item,
Okay.
one vitamin, one mineral, or
Right.
whatever it is that they're addressing. Well, your body uses many vitamins, vitamins and minerals, and there's many other things that really aren't identified or talked
Mm-hmm.
about because they don't know what they are.
Wow.
But if you eat food, those minute things or those undiscovered things
Mm-hmm.
in the food that we eat, but they are not in the supplements. So if you're trying to maximize your health using supplements, you're going to be sorely disappointed.
Wow. Wow.
So if you find that the supplement helps you, then start looking into what is it that
It
what
has.
foods contain this supplement, and
Yeah.
am I
Okay.
getting those in my diet? If I'm not, I
Right.
need to add these to my diet to make sure
Right.
I get those, and not
Right.
take supplements. Spend your money on good food. Forget the supplements.
I say that. I say that all the time. I said, good food is better. I eat less when I have good food.
Yeah,
It's crazy.
absolutely.
When I eat good, I mean, when I say good food, I mean, I'm not the crap. I mean, I eat good food. I'm not hungry. I could eat one meal. I'm great. Like all day, don't have a hunger pain, nothing. I don't even have to have a snack. It's crazy, but
Oh,
it's
yeah, no, it's
true,
amazing. When you eat good food, what your body doesn't crave.
right? So good. Okay, so I have to ask you this before moving on to the really tough questions. Because, okay, I have bouts of cholesterol, and I fought my doctor tooth and nail, and I still am, with statins because it
Mhm.
was adversely affecting me. And then when I heard I had to stay on it for life, and I was like, okay, so what is the change that's making if I have to have it on for life? And they were like, oh, you get 10 more years of life. I was like, wait, what?
Yeah,
So it didn't make any sense to me. Now
no.
I'm going to read a part from your book, and I need you to explain it to me because I wasn't really clear on it. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. It says since cholesterol gets so much press, it needs to be better understood. Cholesterol is a group of fats that are used in most cells of your body. They're used in the cell walls and in other structural components and for other purposes. They are the precursor molecules for all the steroid hormones, including testosterone, estrogen, progesterone, and several other hormones. What does that have? Why does that happen in the body? How does it make those things? Like, say if I'm getting older and maybe my estrogen is going down. I'm just saying. I don't know if that's true, but if it go, does that affect the cholesterol? Is that what that's saying?
And yeah, that doesn't really affect the cholesterol so much. There's a lot of other factors that are
Okay.
involved in what your estrogen's doing over time.
Okay.
Excuse me. But the cholesterol is a molecule that is used in many, many functions in your body. And one
Okay.
of the functions are hormones, obviously.
Mhm.
The cholesterol is so important to the function of your body that if you don't eat any cholesterol, you eat zero cholesterol, your
Right.
body manufactures it. It has to have cholesterol in order to
Gotcha.
survive. Okay?
Gotcha.
So if you eat cholesterol, then your body doesn't need to make it. So
Mm.
this is one of those things where if you're eating a diet high in cholesterol,
Right.
your body will absorb what it needs and it doesn't make any. But if you abruptly stop eating any cholesterol, it takes a little while
Mm-hmm.
for your body to start ramping up production. And
Gotcha.
conversely, if you don't eat any and then you all of a sudden start eating a bunch, it takes a little while for your body to ramp down this production. So your
Mm-hmm.
cholesterol levels will fluctuate in there.
Right.
What people are really concerned about is atherosclerosis. And they found that these atherosclerotic plaques, the hardening of the arteries,
Mm-hmm.
they contained a lot of the low density lipoprotein.
Right. Right.
And so it was a matter of association. Well, if we have low cholesterol in our bloodstream, then we can't build up these plaques as quickly. Now, this wasn't a prevention. The statins
Mm-hmm.
and all this stuff, this is not a prevention of atherosclerosis and other things.
Right.
This is to reduce the rate at which it builds up.
Right.
Okay.
Okay.
So it's like related to, like, if you live next to a stream and you're building a house from logs that are floating down the stream,
Mm-hmm.
and if you see very few logs floating down, it's going to take you a long time to build a house.
Right.
There's tons of it floating down. You build a very nice mansion in no time. So that's the idea behind this lowering your cholesterol.
Okay.
And they tried to come up with some associations of how much of this cholesterol there should be in relation to this cholesterol, and try to balance all that out. And they've
Mm-hmm.
got great lengths, for the statins and other things, dietary input. It's all crazy because none of it has
Mm-hmm.
effect. So what they're finding out now is the combination of fats that you eat has a huge effect on your cholesterol
Mm-hmm.
levels.
Okay.
And sugar too. When
Right.
people eat a high sugar diet and they eat a very poor diet, that has a huge impact on cholesterol,
Mm-hmm. Okay.
far more than just trying to control your cholesterol intake or taking statins or anything
Right.
else.
Right. Okay.
So who doesn't have problems with cholesterol? Well,
Right.
people who
Right.
eat a reasonably healthy diet don't have
Right.
problems with cholesterol, and especially people who eat a reasonably healthy diet and exercise.
Yeah.
So you don't see athletes running around with all these cholesterol problems and things like that. You see people who sit around, eat a poor diet, and don't do much of anything. They're the ones with a cholesterol problem.
Right.
But they're the ones who really need to clean up their diet and
Mm-hmm.
learn to exercise.
Right. I know that I exercise. I walk at least 45 minutes a day, every day. And I take out, I don't really eat a lot of fatty things. I don't even fry anything. And then they asked me to do a test, and I did the test, and it said that it was hereditary. Is that correct? Is that what it was? Like I'm like in my family, I'm prone to have high cholesterol.
There's, I mean, they try to throw these family things in there. The thing with the family things is you inherited, obviously, your characteristics from your family, from your genetic,
Mm-hmm.
and how your body exactly processes cholesterol and other things is a little bit different. But what isn't different is if you eat a very well-balanced, healthy diet, your body has what it needs to function. And although there's little variabilities of things here and there, your body functioning normally is not a variable. That happens pretty consistently across the board with everybody.
Right.
And so they say that, okay, I work a lot more with obesity and stuff like that. So people say, well, okay, everybody in my family is obese, and so I'm obese, and I just can't help it. It's part of my genes.
Right.
Unfortunately, the medical community has fallen into this because they've tried this diet and exercise and pills and all these other things, and they've not gotten anywhere. And so they finally just threw in the towel and says, okay, well, this is a genetic problem. People can't help being obese because their genetics make them obese. And so the only way that they're going to solve that is if we come up with a medication and some things that's going to overcome what their body's trying to do, then they can overcome the obesity. And this is really sad because that is a great atrocity that they are throwing people. They're telling people, no, it's being obese is not your fault. Well, it's not your fault because you've been fed so much bad information that you don't know where to go, what to do to your obesity. This is a problem that the medical community is just throwing in the towel and says, okay, it must be genetic. It's not your fault. Your genes cause this to happen and things like that. But that's not true.
Right. Okay.
If your genes made you gain weight, what they're telling you is that your body defies physics.
Ooh.
Because there is no way that your body can build weight, excess weight, to make you obese unless you eat the required components.
Gotcha.
Otherwise, you're saying that your body produces mass from nothing. You can just sit there and drink water and gain weight.
Right.
Gain fat. No, that's not.
You're right. Yeah.
And so right there, they've lied to the public and they've thrown in the towel because they've given up. And they think that this obesity is some really complex, horrible disease that they've got to find a way to combat. Well, they're doing a real disservice to the population. And so, and these new injectables, the GLP-1s, people are finding success with that. But again, it's another Band-Aid. You're using something to try to force yourself to not be hungry that has huge, terrible side effects. That potentially could cause you some other issues down the road. And you're using that instead of what you should be doing.
Right. Oof. Oof. So what you're saying in essence is just that your diet really is, you have to really pay close attention to your diet. That's what you really have to do.
You do
adhere to that.
What I find is that people are not very well educated in what is a good, proper, healthy diet. And so they listen to all these. There's so many advertisements out there of people saying, "Oh, do this and you'll be healthy. Drink these shakes. Do this, do that. Take these supplements." People don't know where to go. They don't know what the truth is. And so that's been my purpose in writing that book and coaching program that I've put together is to educate people. Once you know the truth, you can take care of things yourself. You don't have to be on any special diet plan. You don't have to buy special foods. You don't have to be on medication. You don't have to do anything because now you're armed with information that you need to develop your own personal diet that's healthy, using healthy foods, that is balanced, and you don't need any of these other things. But you do have to know that information. You do have to know the truth, and you do have to be willing to embrace it. You can't just blow it off and say, "Oh, this guy's full of crap. He doesn't know what he's talking about." I've got these supplements. I've got these other things I'm doing. I'm doing very well. Well, okay, if that's what you want, then.
Well, I'll tell you this. Well, audience, this book does expose it all, and it'll get you on the right track if you want to accept it. Doctor, you spent years following popular formulas. What was the aha moment for you?
Well, when I first started out, of course, I knew nothing, and I just started reading up on nutrition and diets and so forth. And I really wanted to be strong. I admired strong people, and so I thought I'm going to start lifting weights and doing this. As I did that, I actually ended up getting into bodybuilding. And I got into their diets and their supplements and their workout routines and everything very heavily. But those supplements are very expensive.
Mm-hmm.
And I once went to a bodybuilding seminar, 2-day seminar. And when we went to lunch, this guy had bottles of pills that he would basically ate a plate full of pills and then a little side dish with some food. And I thought, there's
Wow.
no way I can afford that. That's just way beyond my means to afford that. But I
Mm-hmm.
started noticing that in times when I could afford the supplements, I took the supplements and everything. And then the times when I couldn't take the supplements, I didn't notice any difference. So what's going on here? Why
Right, right.
am I taking the wrong supplements? Am I doing my exercises wrong? What's wrong with this scenario?
Mm-hmm.
Then I started digging into it. Why? What is going on here? Because like I said, you listen to these advertisements for these supplements and they sound so enticing. You just think, oh, wow, I've got to have this supplement. It's going to do all this for me. But it wasn't doing anything for me. So what's the problem? That's what got me started looking into where's the issues? Where's the problems?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Gotcha. Gotcha. Right.
Well, and then after I did that, I spent another 20 years. And before I went to med school, I thought when I go to med school, these guys are going to straighten it all out because they're going to teach me about nutrition. They're going
Mm-hmm.
to teach me about this other stuff that's going to help me figure out what's going on here. Well, med school is a huge disappointment because they didn't teach me any of that stuff. So I get into that. Well, okay, now what? So that just left me on
Right.
my own to go out and research this.
Mm-hmm.
But you start picking it apart. And at one point, I was going to write a book just dispelling these mysteries. I was going to take a supplement and show how their research was wrong, or they didn't have any research at all, and what you really needed to know and do, and not use a supplement. I had stacks of research articles, just stacks
Okay.
of, and I finally figured out that, no matter how much I pick a supplement and destroy it by showing that it's false advertisement, false claims, and everything,
Mm.
I'm never going to run out of supplements because there's tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of supplements out there. How are you going to
Yep.
do all this?
This is
So
true.
then that's when I decided to write this book, Lies Exposed. I thought, well, if I write a book and just educate people about what the truth is, then they can make up their own mind. They don't have to pay any attention to these supplement advertisements. I don't have to dispel, any fallacies associated with these supplement providers. I just have to tell them the truth, and then they can see it for themselves. But even at that, I find that that's not quite enough because you read through it and you found some things that you questioned or weren't clear enough in the book, and um, actually implementing the ideas in the book. I give some pretty good ideas on how to take this knowledge and implement it into your life, how
Mm-hmm.
to adjust your diet and so forth.
Okay.
But I find that even that's not enough. That's enough for somebody who's very motivated and has a little bit of background and really wants to dig into it. For people, most people don't want that. They want to be a little more spoon-fed. So I put
Right.
together coaching programs that use that book as the basis, but then I go
Mm.
expand on those ideas and I put videos together to explain the ideas and work on coaching one-on-one in groups of Zoom meeting groups and one-on-one with individuals. And that does work because then you can answer the questions directly. And when they have a false idea or something rolling around their head or
Right.
something
I see.
up
I
to them that
see.
says, oh, what about this? I can answer and dispel it right away.
Wow. That's good. That's really good.
So once they
That's
get the education, once they start doing these things on their own, then they can maintain it on their own. They don't need me. They just need the knowledge and learn how to use that knowledge so that they can
that's good.
themselves.
Oh, that's excellent. My audience and I talk a lot about trauma. How does trauma in our lives, the stress, the emotional pain, past hurts, directly impact our physical abilities or physical health? I'm sorry, and our ability to lose weight.
Well, when people get traumatized, they usually look for something for comfort, something to
Mm-hmm.
relieve the trauma that they've had. And very often, food is the thing that does that.
Okay.
And so, and And what food is it? Never found anybody who found relief in eating an apple, and so they ate 10 apples a day. It's usually, uh, it's usually high carbohydrate, high calorie foods that are
Mm-hmm.
very soothing and satisfying. So people eat lots of pasta. They'll eat
Wow.
just
Okay.
lots of things like that. So they're high carb,
Right. Right. Exactly. Yeah.
and I mean it is soothing, and it does calm them down. It does help them cope with the stress and the anxiety and things that they are dealing with.
Mm-hmm.
What it also does is now it gives them another problem. Now they put on a lot of weight. Now they got to deal with that. And it's not bad enough that they have this other stress and these other things or things that have happened in the past that they're dealing with and trying to go.
Mm-hmm.
But now they got this weight issue that they have to deal with. And that's just a lot more than most people can handle.
Wow. Hmm. That's good. I like that. I was looking for. I got one more question. No, I'm looking for it actually.
Okay.
How do you begin, or what would you tell us to start to begin to put together, what we should start working on, like our workout or our diet, not well, eating habit.
Mhm.
What do we say? How do we begin that? What does it look like? I guess it's a routine, right? Is that what
Yeah,
it? Yeah,
it's
a routine.
it's something that I mean everything we do is habitual.
Mm-hmm.
The way you eat, the food you eat, the way you dress, the everything you do is habitual.
Okay.
And so what you have to look at when you're looking at your diet and what you eat, first off, you have to be willing to say, am I really eating as healthily as I can be? And then be willing to accept the truth. Now, that poses another problem because how do you know what's the truth? You go to the internet and you start looking
We
at stuff
don't. Yeah,
and
this
you
is
look at
true.
somebody's program and they say, well,
This
I've
is
got the
true.
truth here. You come and follow my program. I'm going to get your weight down in 6 months. You're
Yeah.
going to be skinny as you want to be. You're going to be eating healthy and all this other stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Well, how do you know if that's true or not? How do you know if they have some other underlying agenda? And most of these people, I think, want to help people. They want to get them down there. And they think that what they're doing is the best. But what they don't realize is their program is based off the lies and fallacies that have been rolling around for decades. And
Mm-hmm.
so you're not giving people any better information than what they already have.
Right.
You may coach somebody by uh, being in their face all the time and saying, hey, well, you need to stop eating this and you need to start eating that. Well, when you start doing those kinds of things, it causes a great deal of stress because you get a certain comfort out of the foods that you eat,
Yeah.
especially the high calorie, uh, low nutrition foods. People
Yeah.
really get stuck on that. And there's certain things that you look forward to eating every day or every other day, once a week, whatever it is. And when you get challenged on those things, it's really hard for you to let go and say, hey, I'm really doing things wrong
Right.
and want to accept. And so, again, it falls back kind of into that category once again. How do you know what's true?
Right.
And so, if it doesn't make sense, if it sounds too fantastic or too short of a time period, something, it's not true.
Yeah.
Like people who advertise, come down to our clinic and within 30 days you're going to lose. Most people lose a pound a day.
Yeah.
No, most people don't lose a pound a day. When you calculate
Right.
what it takes to lose a pound a day, it's impossible.
Mm-hmm.
And so, how do they get around that? Because you're going to go down there and you're going to sign up and you're going to do this, and they're going to say, "Wow, just think 30 days you'll be 30 pounds lighter." Well, 30 days you're 5 pounds lighter. Well, what's the deal here? You told me I'm going to lose a pound a day.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Most people
Right.
do. Some people are just resistant, and they have this problem, or they have that problem, or they have this particular genetic tendency, or they have this or the other, and it makes them very hard for those people to lose weight. But if you stick with it, you'll lose weight. So just stick with the program. See, you've already lost 5 pounds. Just
Right.
stay with us. You'll lose that weight, and people usually do, at least for a while, a few months or whatever, and maybe they stick with it till they get to their weight. But then now, what do? You
Right.
something that is completely unnatural. You've maybe
Right.
taken medications. you're eating a diet that you don't like, that somebody told you to eat. And then you get down to your weight and you say, oh, great, I'm down to my weight. I can go back to doing what I was doing. Well,
Yeah.
no, you can't. Because what you were doing is what made you fat in the first place. And going back to it is going
Mm.
to have the same result. And you're going to be right back where you were at, only maybe worse off. So, there's lots of programs out there, but knowing which one is going to tell you the truth,
Oh, yeah.
and nobody's really trying to lie to you, but most people are embracing the lies and fallacies, like I said, that have been perpetuated for so long. The keto diet is probably one of the worst diets that you can possibly conceive of for your health. It's just horrible.
Mm-hmm.
And I started a new YouTube channel, and I'm putting together some videos. I put together a 5-part series on the keto diet.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
I did this a few years ago now, but I'm just adopting it, updating it a little bit to do the YouTube videos. But as I'm doing this, I'm reading something on the internet, and it says that the brain will use ketones, preferably to glucose. Well, that goes against
Wow.
everything I've ever been taught or learned, or what's going on here? And so I started Googling things, and this is what people are running into. I start Googling things, and the first thing pops up says, oh, yeah, the brain loves ketones for fuel. Well, I just read it doesn't ring true.
Wow.
I kept researching, and I ran into a statement that says, yeah, the brain will use ketones, except there are tissues in the body that have to have glucose.
Mm-hmm.
And so I started researching that a little bit, and I stumbled on some research, and it says, oh, yeah, the one tissue in the body that has to have glucose is the brain. Okay.
Wow. Wow.
That's what I was telling everybody, hey,
Yeah.
if you think about it,
Wow.
people who are on keto diets, if you check their blood sugar, the blood sugars are normal. Well, why are the
Mm-hmm.
blood sugars normal? Because the brain has to have glucose.
Right.
It's not going to function without it. And so
Wow.
no matter what diet you're on, your body's going to break down protein, which your protein stores are your muscles. Your body's going to break your muscles down and turn it into glucose to feed your brain. If you eat enough protein, your body doesn't have to break down your muscle. But that's what's happening. Your body is going to, your liver is going to make glucose for your brain, period.
Wow.
But you read what they say on this keto diet, and it says, no, your body loves ketones. Well, no, it doesn't. No part of your body loves ketones over glucose. And they even warn you, if you're going to exercise significantly and you need some extra energy, eat some glucose. Eat some carbs.
Right.
The whole thing is just horrible.
So backwards. Yeah.
And the nutrition, I mean, you're eating meat and fat, a lot of meat and fat, which is probably the least nutritious foods that you can eat as far as, vitamins, minerals, and the basic components. And then they have really a lot of problems with constipation and things like that. Well, no kidding, you're eating no fiber. And without fiber, your bowels can make bricks out of the stool.
Oof.
So,
wow.
Things like this. So it's hard to know when you're getting the truth, when you get information on the internet. And how do you know that I'm telling you the truth? How do you know that I'm not just throwing a bunch of crap out there that is fallacies and lies as well? Well, you'll find that all the stuff that I talk about is very researchable and is very it makes sense.
Right.
If you read something and somebody's promising things that are fantastical, they are. If somebody promises you're going to lose 50 pounds in the next month, that is ridiculous.
Well,
and so
that's good stuff.
Yeah.
That's good stuff. Well, Doctor, thank you for being a truth teller and keeping it real with us. Audience, I hope you guys got something from this because I know I did. For everyone watching, your body is not broken. You've just been given the wrong information. This book here by Dr. Meline is going to help you. Lies Exposed. It's a powerful resource to help you find the truth and start your journey for a better you. And as always, I'm here and always keep it real, all on purpose. Thanks for watching. See you next time around.